About the benefits of plastics. Plastics appeared in our lives in the 50s of the 20th century. Mankind greeted the arrival of plastics with delight. Bright, light, comfortable, without sharp corners, plastic children's toys became desirable. The number of items made of plastic increased every day. Chemists came up with more and more new types of plastics. Plastic products were not subject to corrosion, had an attractive appearance and low cost. Thanks to plastics, household appliances, clothing and shoes became more and more accessible. In 1956, Colin Murdoch, a pharmacist from New Zealand, invented and patented a plastic disposable syringe. This invention turned the world upside down. I remember reusable glass syringes and blunt needles with which doctors pierced the skin with difficulty, causing pain and suffering to patients. After injections, medical workers washed and disinfected syringes. The chance of getting infected depended on their conscientiousness. With the advent of disposable syringes, the number of infectious diseases dropped sharply. The first PET bottle was patented by the chemist Nathaniel Wyeth in 1973, and the first PET bottle was recycled only 4 years later. Thanks to the advent of PET bottles, clean drinking water appeared in all countries of the world, including the most remote corners of developing countries. The number of infectious diseases spread through dirty drinking water dropped sharply. Nobody thought about the need to organize the collection and recycling of PET bottles. Very soon, all the rivers, pits, roadsides, beaches were littered with PET bottles. Lightweight, always remaining on the surface, and therefore in sight. PET bottles are lying around everywhere. Even in the most inaccessible places in the world. Why? Because a person needs to drink at least 1.5 liters of water per day. 1.5 liters of water in plastic bottles weigh 1,560 grams. 1.5 liters of water in glass bottles weigh 2,500 grams. Glass bottles are transported in plastic boxes weighing 4 to 5 kilograms that must be returned and take up significantly more space than plastic bottles. You can calculate the cost of transportation costs for the delivery of water in plastic bottles and compare it with the cost of delivering water in glass bottles. Don't forget that plastic boxes must be returned. Calculations will show that without plastic bottles, people in developing countries would be forced to drink water from a puddle. The weight of plastic parts in cars, planes, ships, houses, is hundreds of millions of tons. The amount of plastic parts in children's toys, household appliances, computers, televisions, music centers, is enormous. In comparison with the amount of plastic consumed in industry, PET bottles make up a miserable 1 to 3%. But PET bottles are always in sight. It seems that it is only necessary to defeat PET bottles and the problem of pollution with plastic waste will be solved. This is not so. Even more surprising is the concern of MEPs about the fight against ultra-thin plastic bags for vegetables and fruits, providing convenience to shoppers in supermarkets. The stupidity of this initiative can be measured. These bags make up no more than 0.1% of all the plastic used by mankind. Neither UNEP employees nor European parliamentarians, no one will ever be able to completely eliminate plastic from our lives. If they do manage to reduce their plastic consumption, it will only be by a fraction of 8%. If this is so, wouldn't it be wiser to direct our efforts not to a noisy campaign to combat plastic bags, but to creating a convenient waste collection infrastructure and introducing modern recycling technologies to replace the old technologies of the pre-plastic era? Collection and recycling of all organic waste, including all plastic waste. It's time to admit that humanity cannot live without plastics. Just look around you and imagine what would happen if the objects around you were made not of plastic, but of clay, straw or bamboo. Living without plastics is the same as trying to return to the Middle Ages, where they used syringes made of bamboo and blood transfusion systems made of animal intestines. Plasticophobes blame plastic manufacturers, Coca-Cola, Nestlé for plastic pollution. As if they were the ones throwing empty bottles and packaging everywhere. It is not the plastic manufacturers or the Coca-Cola and Nestlé manufacturers who are to blame. Officials are to blame for the fact that of the 2.5 billion tons of household waste, including plastic, produced by humanity each year, only 10% is recycled. Why this happens, see the first and second part of the series Sick Planet. From the next video you will understand how the huge, uncontrolled, corrupt black market for recycling plastic waste works and how much harm it causes.